Good evening and welcome everyone to yet another live webinar session organized by KCM Connect. On behalf of the organization, I am Munmun Jaiswal coordinating this session for the day. Today we are going to discuss decline in offers. Is India still preferable with a renowned HR and placement professional? To say a few words about KCM Connect, it is an IT consultancy service provider, established organization in customized software application, pioneering in applications on transport and logistics, and also taken initiative in technical and skill development areas of education and industry culture connect segment. On behalf of KSM Connect, I welcome today's system speaker, Ms. Prashasti Shri. She is having 5 years of experience in talent acquisition, managing and hiring resource for multiple development centers and software solution groups, requirement gathering, strategy, designing, planning, and execution, and to understand hiring needs and required candidates' job level, experience, characteristics, and competitions. Ms. Prashasti Sri have extensive exposure on niche skill hiring process for brands like LinkedIn and other job portals like Naukri, Monster, etc. Currently, Ms. Prashasti is working as HR manager with NextGen Solution. Before starting the session, let me remind some rules of our webinar. Webinar will last for 45 minutes where our esteemed speaker will share their valuable ideas on the issue. Thereafter, we will take question and one after another to ask question. Please use reaction button and then write your query in chat. Moderator will then allow the participant to ask. I would like to request all before asking question, please give your introduction to the audience. Participants are not allowed to switch or on audio or video during the running session. In case of any query, please use chat window only to let moderator know your concern. I once again thank you all for participating in this live webinar. Please welcome Ms. Prashasti Sri.
Thank you, Manman. Good evening, everyone. I thank KCM Connect to give me this opportunity to discuss about this recent challenge or issue we can term. Which is being faced in normal with every recruiter in day-to-day hiring or uh, this is a challenge which is faced by everyone, every company, which is very usual in last 3 4 years. Decline in offers, this is one of the most common thing which every recruiter has faced in his or her life. This is can be also termed as offer shopping, maybe because decline in offer is directly connected to offer shopping of candidates, which is a new trend in candidates these days. But before we start this to discuss about the reasoning, what is the reason of offer declines, we will also be seeing the proactive measures we can take to control of decline in offers. But this theory is almost assumption based and a scenario based thing. Every individual has a different understanding or need according to which he or she looks out for a job. So before we start, I would like to highlight, uh, Rajiv, if you can give me control to share my screen. So, in declines of offers in India, still preferable in IT or not? So, firstly, we go ahead with this. We will discuss about the 10 countries preferred to work all over the world. In this list, we can see we have Switzerland, Canada, Australia, Netherlands, Germany, USA, Sweden, Denmark, Singapore, and United Kingdoms. We don't have India in the list. India is not in the top preferred countries to outsource workers or employees. India has the fastest growing service sector in the world, which is 9.2%, with the lowest share of service employment, which is just 28%. There is an expected supply of 7 million people for the Indian technology industry that consists of graduates, postgraduates, diploma holders, and PhDs. Overall employability in is only 18%, and this is all based according to the recent surveys which is done for the for this decline in offers and for this working culture in India. Now, moving to declines to offer. According to the job offer, I'm so sorry. According to the job offer decline survey for year 2017 and 18, which was conducted by a global recruitment firm, N-World, India, on the sample size of 2,000 mid and senior level candidates across the major domains, the trend was witnessed across all sector, but mainly IT sector is where the job offer decline ratio is maximum. As per the survey, IT industry faces the most job offer decline at 32%, followed by the offshoring sector, which is near to 30%, and engineering industry, which is also gripped by this challenge of offer decline, which is 25%. Now, if we talk about the reasons of offer decline, before that, we will just have a glimpse of rising unemployment rate in India. This is the data till April 2018. If you can see, which was highest in year 2018. This this was unaffected by the offer decline and other reasons, but the unemployment was already rising in India, which have certain reasons. And this is the data of unemployment rate in India after the corona situation. So you can see it has risen to almost 30% near about. So if we talk about the reasons of offer decline, we can have these 5 points to discuss about: better offer from the competitor, current company retention, offer not being lucrative enough or maybe profitable as to the candidate, growth opportunities, and on-site opportunities. So if we discuss about all these in detail, firstly, better offer from the competitor. So this was what is one of the most recent, one of the most typical thing which every recruiter faces. Better offer from the competitor or the different companies. I mean, every candidate, skilled candidate, we can say, if he or she has an offer from a company, the notice period in Indian companies is generally of 90 days. In the time of 3 months, they go and try looking a better offer from the one they are carrying, they are holding in hand. Or we can say, by the time they are having their, by the time of 3 months of notice period is completed, they already hold 3 4 offers from different companies, like all tier 1 organization. There's a trend in, like, if a candidate is already selected in one of the tier 1 organizations, this is most likely that he or she will be holding an offer of 3 or 4 other tier 1 organizations or maybe tier 2 organizations, in to meet the, to catch the best candidate or maybe the right candidate, and to, there's a kind of fight between the recruiters from different countries as well, different companies as well. Like, they want to go out for the right candidate, not the best candidate. They look out for the candidate who is good according to the client, who best fit their budget, and they can, you know try matching out the offers they are holding in hand. So this is a very normal thing, mm, which is faced by recruiters on daily day to day basis. If the candidate is already holding an offer, they find it very easy to meet the offer, to match the offer, and try buying out the candidate to join their firm instead of the other. going to the second point, current company retention. Any good candidate, any candidate who is already working with a company, who is already I mean, he or she is already known to the clients they are working with, they are already aware of the work culture and other roles they have to play. The company would want them to stay back in the company. They won't want to go off the candidate, as because a replacement of the candidate would be very difficult, firstly. Secondly, it would be difficult for them to get the candidate filled by the same budget what they have been paying to the candidate. The other replacement would be definitely of higher of the cost which they have been paying to the candidate earlier. So companies, they try to match the offer. If I mean, by matching the offer they get from the market, or by an on-site opportunity, or by promotion, they try to retain the candidate, retain the employee, and don't let good employees, exit from the company. They bound by treating them the goods of the company, whichever they in whichever way they can try holding up the candidate back. So everything is already, tried by them to retain the candidate back. Offer not being lucrative enough is the third point. On this point, this is different for every individual have a different thought or different aspect prospect they look out from an offer. So it's like, for maximum cases it is supposed to be good hike, but for some they have preferences of brand, like candidates want to go for tier 1 organization or big 4 organization, or maybe the projects, they would like to know about the projects if they are going for a support project or a development project, or the work environment. Many people have a tendency to look out for the work and life balance, especially the diversity candidates. Location also matters. Like, we all know that maximum of the IT sector is limited to the southern part of India. So Delhi NCR is still growing. We don't have a limitation here, but yes, it's not as well grown as southern part of India. So different people, different individual have different priorities. Also, candidates have a new trend of checking out of for on-site opportunities. Uh, Depending on the place they can visit, or maybe on-site opportunities in future if they are going to join a company, or maybe the promotional cycle, what is the promotional cycle, or how soon they can get a hike. If a candidate try to, buy out the best match they can have. Offer is not just an offer or deal for candidates these days. They do try to find out every possible thing they are looking for in an offer. And this is not only from the candidates end. Even the recruiters, they try to sell out the best of their company's good to the candidate, like the work life balance, like the promotional cycle. There are companies who have promotional cycles on quarterly basis, and that is, different from the probation period. Even if you completed not completed, it's hardly, that hardly does matter. Candidates are eligible for that as well. And companies have a new trend of promoting without giving a hike. That is a thing which is most common in companies which are trying to hold back candidates to their company. So offer being lucrative enough is something which an individual decides, that cannot be into, a perspective for a recruiter. It's really difficult to understand what a candidate is actually looking for. Being limited to certain points in the HR discussion is really difficult for recruiters to check if the candidate is looking out for just hike, or there are other aspects a candidate is looking for. But most of the cases it's just a good hike, which is again a challenge for recruiters to face, as because they have a limit into which they can make an offer to a candidate with a certain experience. They cannot make changes into it, or maybe they have, they have to take approvals or other things from the business to go ahead with the candidature of the candidate. So this is again a very common thing which we only can have assumptions about. Moving to growth opportunities. Growth opportunities is again different for every individual. To reduce the ratio of offer decline, we can engage the candidate to understand his goals and expectations. Every candidate has a different goal. Now, someone wants to be at manager level and try to manage a team, or someone might have a tendency to work alone. So, growth opportunity for both the candidate will be different. It won't be same for both the candidate. They will be looking out for different opportunities with different company where they can work with. Candidates check for the projects, work, promotional cycle, and every other detail or benefit they seek in their future from a job. They look out for opportunities of different trainings, certifications as well in the organization. Many companies go ahead with certifications. They bear the cost of the certifications, and candidates do try to find out those companies where they can have their certifications and work with a good hike as well. Job for them is no more limited to a good salary. In other words, talking about on-site opportunities, there is a new trend of candidates checking about on-site opportunities. They look forward to join an organization where they can have different training opportunities or maybe deployment things in different countries. They tend to ask the recruiter if they have on-site opportunity or not. On basis of that, they accept the offer. These are all these points are all the normal thing which every recruiter have or will be facing. If any recruiter can relate to any of the points, it's very easy to relate in day to day life. Every recruiter must have faced this in any point of their career growth. If we talk about the control on offer declines, now we can only give a try on the offer decline controls. We cannot have a certain method on which we can say yes, we can surely have a control on the offer declines, but we can surely try to control the offer declines by these points. First is get a commitment on notice. When we make an offer to a candidate, we can check with the candidate what is his or her notice period in the organization they are working with. We can try to take their resignation acceptance, and we can check for a date. I mean, where it's possible for them to join. Not a commitment exactly, but a possibility, a possible date where they or he or her might join on said date. We can consider a certain date where he or she can is feasible to join. Then we might not face offer decline, but still we cannot measure this with a last moment decline. Last moment decline is something which is, I mean, candidate, they don't tend to, even if they have accepted the offer, they don't tell the recruiter if he or she is holding another offer. Even after their commitment on the joining of a new organization, they don't tell if they are not going to join or they are joining some other firm. They accept the offer one place, they accept the offer other place, and they can accept offer at multiple companies. This is something new. Even after their commitment, it's just an assumption. We can try on the commitment if we can take a email from their end or something. But still we don't have certainty that candidate will be joining an organization, as because there is no legal action or any clause by government of India or by the total IT sector which they have in clause to to be taken against the candidate in case they have committed or they have after they have declined the offer. They have accepted but they have not joined. Like unlike the other countries, we have this clause in different countries where if candidate once committed, he or she has to join that organization. If he or she isn't joining, there's a penalty, or they have to go through some legal actions, which is different in different country. But unlike other countries, it's not so very common in India. Again, we are the second point we need to discuss about is proper follow up. Proper follow up is like in the 3 months of time. 3 months time is actually a long duration of a notice period to serve. Every candidate loses up the, I mean, there's a connection you build. The candidate loses up his interest in a company he or she is holding an offer if he or she is has already received another offer. And always the first priority of a candidate is hike. The offer you are making in the first place, the company making it in second or third place will be obviously higher than what you have offered. So making a flower follow up at least will have you known to the fact if she or he got another offer, you can still have chance to match that offer, or if he or she still prefers to joining your organization instead of the recent offer they have received. Now third is connecting with the candidates for his her requirement expectations from job. Connection is the most important thing in recruitment and HR line. Once you build connection with the employees or the candidates around, you will be surely known to their interest. And once you are known to the interest of a candidate, you surely will get to know if he or she is dicey to joining an organization or not. Connecting with the candidate is not like just selling up of all goods of your company, or just talking about the offer or the work location. Connection is something you have to fill with you have to build up with the candidate, asking his her interests apart from the work discussion you have, like the location instead of saying the location you will be working on, you can try saying we have these locations, what would be your preferred location. After that, just check if you have that location to be offered to him, is it possible to offer him or her that location or not, and then get back to him, or try making an effort checking with the business if a candidate can be, he can join that company in that location or not. So this is something every recruiter has to take initiative on all these 3 points. This is the best thing a recruiter can try to connect with the candidate to stop or to control an offer decline. This is something which is actually very difficult for every recruiter, I know, because it's it's like they are overburdened with requirements. In their normal monthly basis they have targets, weekly basis they have targets, and it's really difficult for every recruiter to follow up with every candidate every day, every hour, and getting, checking up if they have reverted with all the required thing or not. But connecting with the candidate is an easy task for a recruiter to do, as because they tend not to reply to the candidates, and this is the connection gone. We have seen different memes or jokes on social media and LinkedIn as well, that recruiters say that yes, they will be getting back to us, and they never come back to us. This is something which cut off the connection between a recruiter and the candidate. The candidate never get to know about the things he or she is looking for, and the recruiter never tends to check with the candidate what are their requirements. They get stuck to their work, and candidates they lose interest. So to holding up the candidate, the best thing a recruiter can try is connecting with the candidates, which is the best measure a recruiter can ever take. Now, if we talk about if India is still preferable in IT sector. So yes, this is again assumption based, as because there is nothing new in these points what we do have new from other countries of the world. But yes, there are certainly few things which India still have best. So these are the points we will be discussing. First, we go with the government policies. Government policies are something, India, like we know, in India, government policies are welcoming the IT source to come and invest in Indian market. Many of the cities, they have no rent policies for IT industry to set up their market or set up their offices. Um, yes, so the Indian government takes initiatives frequently to promote India as a safe and secure outsourcing destination. There are many measures taken by the government of India in order to enhance the outsourcing in India by different IT firms, by the companies worldwide. Government of India has the IT sector development in its priority list and implemented the National IT Task Force 108-point action plan to promote the growth of information technology in the country, considering and seeking maximum job opportunities for the youth of the country from the service sector or from the IT sector. Moreover, India has also a cyber law to control criminal activities and deliver hassle free services to the global clients. Now, talking about the large pool of the resources. Sorry, it has to be pool, not the pole. The typo mistake. So, the large pool of resources. India has a population of over 1.3 billion people, and on a yearly basis, approx 3.1 million of students hold a degree of graduation from Indian universities in different fields. The talented force enable India to deliver quality service in various sectors. India has a maximum pool of skilled laborers or the IT professionals, we can say, in the world in terms of numbers, not only in numbers, but the most skilled employees as per the survey by Indian Express. You can check the data on net as well. Coming on to the communication is something which is contradictory, which can be preferable and cannot be preferable. Both, we have both the yes and no for this option here, as because communication is something. If we talk about the accent, Indian accent of English is totally different from the European region or the US region. So communication there is a hurdle for Indian IT professionals to seek a job. But yes, India is one of the largest speaking nations who speaks of English. So this is something which is in preference as well. Though most of the Indians have a very good speaking skill of English, but we have a challenge of accent here. Not every candidate is as good of accent as I mean the IT companies will be finding in the European region where they belong to, or the US region. So for communication, yes, we have the maximum chunk of people who can speak English, and again no, as because we might have a different accent as we can. I mean, it's easy to distinguish if we belong to the Asian group of people who have a different accent of speaking English. Now to committed employees in India, you get committed workforce to work on your ongoing projects. Most of the companies in India work on hourly basis or 6 days a week. Most of the companies have this routine, like they have 6 days of work, and also we have dedicated terms of Indian outsourcing companies who can work around with the clock to meet, around the clock to meet the short project deadlines. The Not only India, it's like in the entire Asian part of the world, we work more than the normal preferred time. The co- other people, other employees work in different zones. But India, yes, it's 45 to 48 hours mandate for most of the companies working in India and we work almost 9 to 10 hours, maybe more than that, it's highly relatable. I mean, almost every one of us is working or have worked into a IT sector ever. So it's highly relatable that we have worked sometimes more than 12 or 13 hours as well as per the work required to be completed. So we have this tendency of overworking in India, which is not with other countries of the world. They tend to work for only those fixed hours they have in their calendar, and they tend to enjoy the other parts of life as well, which we Indians don't tend to. We still try to work on and keep saving, unlike the other parts of the world. Now to flexible pricing options. A range of low cost pricing options make India a top of outsourcing provider for the global clients across the world. The companies in India offer their clients per hour, per lead, per day, and these kinds of billability options which not every country provides. So this is something India has. Not every country provides this per hour or per lead or per project base like of option. And by hiring employees in India, it saves more than 65% of operational expenses and profits for the companies investing in. Now, talking about the consistent high quality services. So, on this point, low cost is not the only reason which makes India top sourcing destination. The consistent high quality services provided by Indian firms has also enabled India remain the first choice for the IT industries to invest. When you choose India as your employment seeking destination, you become eligible for significant cost saving, fastest turnaround time, and optimum quality. As because Indians are well known in the world for best skill into this sector. And we have different examples for that. I really need not to share to men to prove this that Indians are highly skilled into the IT sector. Now talking about the growing infrastructure. This is something which almost every European country or the US region is already having. This is nothing new we will be providing to them, but still, this adds to a reason which make it's India preferable for companies to invest in us, because this is something not every Asian country which provides the outsource companies to invest in India. India is one of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world, and we have one of the fastest growing or developing infrastructure as well. We provide a high speed internet bandwidth, not in all part of the country, but yes, it's almost there in the IT hub of the country, Bangalore, and almost all other southern part of the country. And we have best support constant to maintain the communications and support for the clients. We have latest equipments also involved to maintain the maintain the normal ongoing thing with the clients as a part of infrastructure as well. Now coming to the part, if we have, these are all the reasons we discussed about which makes India preferable, but the recent situation where the corona has hit not only India but the entire world, and the decline in offer making a tendency to, it's like making it so unpredictable in the Indian market that we don't get to know if a candidate is joining or not, is that making India still preferable or not. So India is still preferable in current thing, but this corona in long term and this offer shopping. Instead of offer decline, we can say offer shopping. Offer decline for one company is offer gain for another company, so it's rather to be termed as offer shopping. This offer shopping trend is making Indian resources quite high of their billability. And if any country themselves will have a matching of the same level of availability in their country, it will be very difficult for them to outsource, or it won't be an option for them if they are already having this resource in their own country to on the same very same price. It will be a preference for them not to invest in other countries across the world. It's a normal thing we can try to check on it's a very normal thing. We can have a example from a very normal daily life thing. Like if we have all the resources with us in our the place where we live, we won't if we are being paid salary and with home setting and we don't need to go out, we will prefer sitting back at home. If we are getting salary, we are getting everything, we don't need to step out. So it's kind of that thing. If they are getting an employee of same rate in their own country, why would they come out to a different country? They build up their offices there and hire a employee there in the different country. It would be increasing their cost of maintenance of offices in those countries. Apart from that, they have other costs as well involved. Renting a office, setting up office, and that too is not that easy, because not every country allows to invest in the real estate. Like also in India, not every company can come and build up an office and say, okay, this place is ours, belong to us. They can only rent it. It's very difficult to maintain such high rents for offices, and as well as pay high salaries to the candidate at the same point of time. It would be very difficult for them. That will increase their cost to almost double. If they stay inside their region, they can easily invest into the real estate. They can easily set up the companies there, and they can get the they can get a better communication. Maybe we can say they can get a candidate in better of communication, where they are more used to of the communication, the language, and they can get a resource on the same price. So this might affect in long run for the Indian IT resources if this keep continuing the offer shopping thing as it's been faced in recent time. This is going to be a very difficult time for India, as because we already know the corona has hit the country very very badly. Almost every country, every companies already have started to layoffs. They have started to cut down the salaries, and profit levels have decreased like anything. Not almost all the companies, the hiring process is freeze. There are very limited companies where we can see hiring is still going on. Only the multimedia OTT companies are there who are still hiring us, because people sitting back at home, they are still streaming through different channels or different social sites. So only those companies are there in the market who are still making profit. Other countries, they are either on a non-stable position, or they are already in the process of laying off. Into that, an offer shopping thing or the decline in offer will have a very negative impact in the entire market thing. If we go talk about the MI, there's a decline of 32%, as I have highlighted earlier. 32% of a decline, which is highest in the world. No other country faces a decline of offer at such high ratio. Such, I mean, almost it's like in other companies we have measures, we have involvement from government or the IT sector to have a control on this. In India, it's still not there, but that doesn't mean that won't affect the market. That will affect the market in long run. Till the time we are having high and we are having a high resource, we are bound to provide the we are bound to provide the services to the IT sectors if they are looking out for outsourcing their things to different countries. But till the option, if they have cheap resources, if we don't have cheap resources, they won't be investing in countries like India where infrastructure is still going. We have high paid resources and a communication or language barrier, or we can say an accent barrier. So it's time we can have a thought on this, and we can have a check on our mind, so that this should not impact India in long run. This is something which is already into consideration by most of the companies. If you can see, the entrepreneurs, they don't tend to stay in India, or the startups, even if they start from India, they try to move out from India so that they can have better sources, better resources, and better better all chances and optimum utilization of whatever they have, so that they can proclaim their success in the shortest period of time, which is not possible with the uncertainty of the market India is having. That's all for the discussion, what the points I had. Over to you, Rajiv.
Thank you very much, Prasasti. One thing I would like to ask that you mentioned that there are 32% decline,
Yes.
32% slash in the current demand of the market.
Yeah.
So what we have seen in the US market in recent time, that most of the companies in US, they have cut down 50% of the salary of their employees. And the state owned, that is called the government agencies, they have cut slash 30%. So how do you see that? And you mentioned that still we have a very good perspective from India point of view. So we already have Philippines and Vietnam competing with the India. So how do you
Yes.
see that in this time of pandemic?
See, Rajiv, thing is, Philippines and India, if we compare, about India is also focusing on manufacturing now. India doesn't want to limit it to just IT. We are trying to bifurcate our skilled labors into every prospect. And Philippines, yes, we have a good, I mean, they are a competitor of India, but India, Indian skilled labor is preferred as because India has a better of skilled labor than Philippines. And the budget, the that's what I have been discussing about the, the the charges what we do, or maybe the billability which we have in India is yet less than other countries, even though of Philippines has just emerged, and it's going good. It's actually trying to give a good competition with every of the other companies around the world, countries around the world. And that is also going into manufacture. Uh, there was a project from China after this corona situation. Most of the companies, they are trying to move out of China, and Philippines is one of the countries who has tried getting most of the projects which is moving out of China. So Philippines definitely have a better stand, but the Indian skill is actually trusted, and the commitment of Indians is something world has already known. So their first preference is always India in that.
Thank you very much. Over to Munmun.
Thank you, Prashasti. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to ask our participants if they have any question. So please, uh, they start their question. Anyone? Okay, I repeat again, anyone, if you have a question, then please go ahead, our panelist. Okay, thank you everyone for such an informative webinar session. Thank you, Prashasti, for your valuable information, for your valuable thoughts. Thank you so much for that. And we will meet again for another webinar next weekend. Thank you so
Sure,
much and
Manmohan.
good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, KCM Connect, for giving me this opportunity to express. This is something which every recruiter face, and I'm really glad that I had this opportunity to highlight recruiters' feeling, maybe because I'm already working as an HR, so I maybe have more of the recruiter's perspective here. And yes, this is something which should be considered by candidates as well. It's not only good for them, but it's good for entire IT sector in India.
Thank you, Prasasti. We are an IT company, and then we understand the pain of the pain and gain both of everyone who is associated with any of the IT company in India. Thank you very much for the insightful session.
Thank you all.
Thank you.